A lot to talk about in today's Lions news here. Jared Goff talking about the trade from the Rams to Detroit. Rod Wood talking about the uniforms. It's going to be crazy good. Ridiculously low numbers for prospects coming to Detroit for the NFL draft. 7-round mock draft. The latest rumors in regards to the Lions' potential selection in the NFL draft. Let's get this thing going right now. Before we get into the video, make sure you go to LionsNationUnite.com for the latest Lions gear. You can get epic Lions gear there. LionsNationUnite.com, shirts, cups, all of it. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel. That's the best right there. And we're going to be live for the draft at Soaring Eagle Casino on night 1. Everybody from myself, Speakeasy, Spenmo, Rex, Everything King, Dose of Dion. It's going to be freaking epic. Go ahead and check it out. Let's get into the latest, and obviously Hermar. Let's get to the latest Lions news here right now. Jared Goff talking about getting traded to the Lions was the greatest thing to ever happen to him in his career. That's so awesome. I love it. And he really was in a bad situation. He was broken, I'm sure. He was upset going from the Rams to Detroit. Ended up being the best thing for him. You got fans cheering his name. He's looking really good. You can feel like he's alive again. And it is the greatest thing that happened to him in his career. And I am so happy. You know, we traded for Jared Goff. We traded Stafford. We got Jared Goff and a bunch of draft picks. It's worked out magnificently. And we appreciate you, Jared Goff. And you definitely, hey, we accept you here in Detroit, Jared Goff. That is 110%. Show some love to Jared Goff in the comment section. Put 16 in the comment section to show some love to our quarterback. Ridiculously low number of prospects accepted the Detroit invitation here to the NFL draft. Honestly, I understand. Why? Because you generally don't know where you're going to go in the draft. And do you want to be one of the guys waiting in the waiting room? Not necessarily. But, you know, it's just the situation where you don't want to be looking like Boo-Boo the Fool. And that's what some of these prospects probably just don't want to look like. Spend time with family and do their draft party at home. Because we've seen over the years players who are sitting in the green room and it's looking like a disaster for them. And I'm sure some of these players just do not want that. Rod Wood's talking about one of the greatest uniforms in the NFL. That is great. We got those uniforms popping here in 6 days. Cannot wait to see the Lions alternate uniform. Are they going to go really old school? Are they going to go like the 90s? We don't know. Black uniforms, I think that's what's going to be. But I could be wrong. We don't know. We're going to find out in a couple days, and I'm super excited. I would like to match the alternate helmet. I love the alternate helmet they had last year. I'd love to see the blue used in there. That's just my personal preference. Also news is in 2025, you can have 3 different helmets to wear instead of just 2. So that is going to be cool in 2025. Another helmet the Lions could use, and now we can do 3 helmets here very shortly. Which Lions player is going to make their first Pro Bowl? Well, I'd even look at the list, but I'll give me a nice little shot here of who potentially could make their first Pro Bowl in this up-and-coming season. We'll start with the offense. Well, Jared Goff's already done it, so we're not going to go there. St. Brown's already done it. Jahmyr Gibbs has already done it. Laporte has already done it. I don't really see much on offense to make their first Pro Bowl. It's going to be quite difficult because a lot of Lions offense is already in the Pro Bowl. Maybe David Montgomery. I don't think so. So we're going to go to the defense. I can say Ali McNeil. I'll say he can probably make his first Pro Bowl. That would be really nice upon that defensive line. Makes a lot of sense. He's been trending upward quite a bit. On defense, Alex Anzalone, I'm sure he's made a Pro Bowl. If he hasn't, maybe Alex Anzalone in there. I'm not 100% sure on this. Very possible. In the secondary, Brian Branch. I'll go ahead and give him making the Pro Bowl this year. He really looked good, and I can see a situation where he really excels this year and makes a Pro Bowl. That just makes sense for sure. But in all honesty, it's very difficult to find out who's going to make their first Pro Bowl out there. But let me know in the comment section right now. Who do you think should make the first Pro Bowl? Let's get into the latest rumors regarding the Detroit Lions for the NFL draft. A lot of rumors are flying out that Kool-Aid McKinstry and Cooper DeJong is a realistic option at 29. And I 100% believe that to be true. Absolutely. If you look at these players, first off, look at Kool-Aid McKinstry. Alabama, check. We love Alabama. A 30 visit, check. They draft from the 30 visit at least 50% of the time. Cornerback is a need. He looks to be there around that pick. Makes so much sense, right? Like, if he's sitting there, he absolutely could be the pick. It's a real target. Cooper DeJong, the same type of situation, even though I think he's valued higher. And if he's there, I'd kind of be shocked. But he's universal. He could play safety and corner. And, Lions, they love those universal players. So he could be the pick. 110%. Also, Darius Robinson. I think absolutely, if he is sitting at 29, I do think he's the pick. I think he's the pick. I don't think he's going to be there at 29. I think he's flying up draft boards. But we need an edge rusher. He wants to be a Detroit Lion. It fits the bill of everything for our football team. Darius Robinson absolutely could be the draft pick. And I think that this rumor is 100% true. I think the Lions have high on those guys. And they very well could be the pick for the Detroit Lions. Let's get to this mock draft here. 7-round mock draft. I have not even looked at it. I have no idea. It just popped up 43 minutes ago. So let's get into this mock draft trade. Let's see what the trade is first. Lions are trading up 13th, and they get pick 44. We give up our first-round pick and our second-round pick. But remember, we gain a second-round pick and a third-round pick. And the Lions' first and third in 2025 to get Terran Arnold, cornerback, Alabama. Could they trade up this far? They could. They could. I would not like this trade. Why do I not like this trade? Because you're giving up a first-round pick next year and a third-round pick. I think that's way too rich. Way too rich to go from 29 to 13. That's way too much. I'm not going to do it right there. Could they? They could. I'm not a big fan of this trade. That's way too much. Look, Terran Arnold, great cornerback, Alabama. We know it, right? Really good. Don't know if that's worth it. Trade again. Okay. The Lions they trade back. They get the 50th and 77th picks again with the Raiders. Then the Raiders get 44 and 164. And they get Xavier Legette, wide receiver, South Carolina. I don't think this is a bad move. I like Xavier Legette. You're getting a good wide receiver instantly. He is the number 3, and he's really good. He's a big body guy, contested catches, physical. He would fill the Josh Reynolds role 100%. I like this pick. Good draft pick there. Let's see. 77 pick, edge, Marshawn Kneeland. I love this pick. Right now, this is my favorite pick of this mock draft. We need help at edge, and I think he legitimately could be an edge opposite of Aiden Hutchinson, and he could be a really good one. Oh, I love this pick. If they got him in the third round, top of the third round, that would be a good draft pick for the Detroit Lions. Instantly, I think he'd be ahead of Marcus Davenport. I trust him way more than Marcus Davenport. You got a young pass rusher. Lions are better in defense with him. I like Kneeland. I like that pick. Let's continue on with this mock draft. Sayon Vaki, safety, Utah, in, I think this is the 6th round. 201st, I think that's the 6th round. That's fine. That's fine of a draft pick. I've seen other mock drafts with him. The Lions need a safety, 100%. He is a guy who I think he actually could play special teams right away. He can develop, and actually could, like, if he had to be out there in a pinch, I think he wouldn't be too bad. He'd be the Lions' fourth safety, but he gets to develop. He has an opportunity to develop, and that's extremely important in the draft. When you have other players that can play right away, then someone who you draft can learn a little bit and develop, kind of like Broderick Martin a little bit, right? You're not seeing a lot of play, but he can develop and be a good player for the Lions' future. Let's continue on here. Christian Boyd, defensive line, Iowa, northern Iowa. I have no idea who this guy is, so I couldn't tell you. I've talked about Stiggers as well, a cornerback from Toronto Argonauts, another developmental cornerback. So I'm not going to argue with this at all. Defensive line and a developmental cornerback. That would be a good end. I'm still was waiting for offensive linemen. We definitely need offensive line, guard, and a backup tackle. Missing for this mock draft. I'm going to give this one a B-. So grade this mock draft. I'm giving this a B-. I don't like giving up next year's first-round pick. Everything else I can deal with, but next year's first-round pick, that's tough. That's a lot. You're giving up the future, and I don't want to see the Lions give up the future. We're good in the draft. It'll leave us with a second-round draft pick. You don't have a first or a third. That's tough to swallow for me, so I'm going to give this a B- due to the trade. The players, I don't mind, but the trade is a little bit rough. So in the comment section, grade this trade, A, B, C, D, or F. I cannot wait to see what you guys say on this one. I'm going to see grades all over the place. With that said, folks, adios.